Right? Buckle up, buttercups, because what I'm about to tell you makes Liz Truss's economic management look like Warren Buffett having a good day. We've got a Chancellor who's managed to turn Britain's economy into a slow-motion car crash, complete with denial, delusion, and enough spin to power a wind farm. Rachel Reeves, remember that name, because it's about to become synonymous with economic catastrophe, is reportedly considering her exit strategy after presiding over what can only be described as a financial equivalent of setting fire to your own house and then complaining about the insurance premiums. Welcome to UK Pancakes, where we serve up political disasters fresh from the Westminster oven, and today's special is a Rachel Reeves flambé with a side of absolute chaos. Let me paint you a picture that would make even the most optimistic economist reach for the nearest bottle of gin. The UK economic growth has slowed to a measly 0.3% in the second quarter of 2025. That's right, folks, we're barely growing faster than my nan's garden weeds. But here's the kicker. Reeves is out there spinning this like she's just discovered the secret to eternal prosperity, boasting about what she calls a strong start to the year. It's like watching someone celebrate finishing last in a race while their house burns down behind them. Now, let's dive into the absolute masterpiece of economic mismanagement that's been unfolding before our very eyes. Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride has accused Reeves of living under a rock, and honestly, at this point, that rock might be the safest place for Britain's economic credibility. The man's not pulling punches either. On Rachel Reeves' watch, inflation is up, taxes are up, borrowing is up, growth has stagnated and more tax rises loom. He thundered, and when politicians start using words like loom, you know we're in proper trouble. But wait, there's more. Because in Rachel Reeves' Britain, why settle for one economic disaster when you can have several? Government borrowing has jumped to a 5-year high of £20.7 billion in June alone. That's not a typo, folks, £20.7 billion. It's like watching someone use a credit card to pay off another credit card, except it's our entire national economy and there's nowhere left to borrow from except maybe the Tooth Fairy. And if you thought unemployment might provide some comic relief in this tragic comedy, think again. Unemployment has risen by more than 200,000 in Labour's first year of government, taking the jobless total to 1.67 million. That's not job creation, that's job obliteration with a smile and a press release about how everything's going according to plan. Here's where it gets properly mental, though. UK markets have been tumbling, with speculation about a possible exit by Chancellor Rachel Reeves making investors nervous about the state of Britain's finances. When the mere possibility of you leaving your job causes market panic, you know you've achieved something truly spectacular, just not in the way anyone intended. The World Bank, that's the World Bank, not some dodgy think tank run out of someone's garage, has found that Britain's living standards have fallen behind debt-laden Italy for the first time since 2001. Italy, the country that changes prime ministers more often than most people change their bedsheets. When Italy is looking at Britain with pity, you know we've hit rock bottom and started digging. But let's talk about the pièce de résistance of this economic horror show, Reeves' £25 billion raid on employer national insurance. It's like she looked at the economy and thought, you know what this needs? A good kicking while it's already down. Businesses are folding faster than origami in a hurricane, and Reeves is out there wondering why growth has got stuck. It's stuck, Rachel, because you superglued it to the floor and then hit it with a sledgehammer. Stuart Morrison of the British Chambers of Commerce put it perfectly. The numbers mask the underlying pain being felt by businesses across the UK. Translation: the statistics are bad, but the reality is absolutely catastrophic. It's like saying the Titanic had minor water ingress issues while the band plays on deck. The Federation of Small Businesses isn't pulling any punches either. Tina McKenzie declared that these figures will be no comfort to small firms, which in political speak translates roughly to small businesses are being systematically destroyed by government incompetence. When the people who actually create jobs and wealth are saying you've lost the plot, maybe, just maybe, you've lost the plot. But here's the absolute cherry on top of this disaster Sunday. Despite Sir Keir Starmer's boast about securing trade deals with Donald Trump, UK exports to the US have fallen £2 billion to a 3-year low. That's not just failing to deliver on promises. That's delivering the exact opposite of what was promised while claiming victory. It's like burning down your neighbor's house and then asking for a Good Neighbor Award. The Bank of England, bless their cotton socks, predicts inflation will reach 4% next month, which means any hopes of September rate cut have gone up in smoke faster than Guy Fawkes' parliamentary ambitions. When your own central bank is essentially telling you that your economic strategy is working about as well as a chocolate teapot, it might be time for some serious self-reflection. And what's Reeves' response to all this economic carnage? She's preparing to raise taxes in the October budget to fill a £50 billion shortfall. Because clearly, what an economy struggling with high taxes, low growth, and business uncertainty needs is more taxes. It's like treating a hangover with more alcohol, technically possible, but medically inadvisable and likely to end in disaster. The government is still struggling to hit its target of making Britain the fastest-growing G7 economy, which at this point is like struggling to become the tallest person in the room while lying down. When your economic growth is barely registering on the Richter scale of progress, perhaps it's time to admit that the strategy might need some tweaking. The political and fiscal constraints on Rachel Reeves are combined to leave the Chancellor at a disadvantaged position, which as economists speak for, she's painted herself into a corner while the paint factory exploded. When even sympathetic analysts are essentially writing your political obituary, you know the situation has moved beyond challenging into the realm of career ending. What makes this whole saga even more delicious is the timing. Labour spent years in opposition criticising Conservative economic management, which, let's be fair, wasn't exactly stellar, only to take power and somehow make things worse. It's like watching someone criticise a chef's cooking, then taking over the kitchen and immediately setting it on fire. The speculation about Reeves' potential resignation isn't coming from her political opponents. It's coming from the markets, from business leaders, from her own party's backbenches. Even the Chancellor's supporters fear Britain's plight could soon get much worse. When your own team is jumping ship, you know the vessel is taking on water at an alarming rate. But perhaps the most telling sign of how bad things have gotten is the international reaction. We're not just failing by our own standards, we're failing by everyone's standards. When global investors start getting nervous about British fiscal policy, when international organizations start issuing gentle warnings, when other countries start looking at us with the kind of concern usually reserved for failed states, you know we've achieved something truly remarkable in the wrong direction. The tragedy is that this was all so avoidable. Britain has tremendous economic potential, brilliant universities, innovative businesses, a skilled workforce, and centuries of commercial expertise. But instead of nurturing that potential, we've got a Chancellor who seems determined to squeeze the life out of it with the fiscal equivalent of a bear hug. Reeves keeps insisting that these are positive figures while admitting the economy has got stuck. It's like saying your car is making excellent progress while it's broken down on the motorway. The cognitive dissonance is so severe it should come with its own medical warning label. So here we are, watching Rachel Reeves preside over an economic disaster of her own making while apparently preparing her exit strategy. It's been a masterclass in how to destroy business confidence, create economic growth, and make your predecessors look competent by comparison. If this was intentional, it would be genius-level economic sabotage. Since it's not, it's just tragic. Thanks for watching UK Pancakes, where we serve up the economic disasters fresh from the Treasury kitchen, and the ingredients never stop being absolutely catastrophic. If this economic horror story has left you as confused as a tourist trying to understand British politics, smash that like button, subscribe for more financial chaos, and let me know in the comments whether you think Reeves will resign before she finishes destroying what's left of the British economy.